You are listening to me talking to myself. Welcome to the podcast where I share useful tools to create more space, more freedom, inner peace, connection, and life on purpose. So today we are talking about authentic giving and receiving. It is part of our true identities, who we want to be, what our goals are, and how we want to show up in this world. And there is a lot of giving and receiving that happens in a very obligatory and inauthentic way that creates inauthentic relationships and connections. And one of the reasons why is because we are taught that it is good to be selfless in many ways. Giving time, giving attention, giving skills, giving things to someone we actually do not want to do. To sacrifice ourselves against our own will. So there are different ways to give. We can give our thoughts, we can give our words, we can give money, we can give time, we can give things, we can give attention. So, what is inauthentic giving? It is giving to get something back. And it is inauthentic when it is unspoken. So, a lot of times we are doing a trade with someone that is a spoken trade. That is not the same as giving something. We are expecting something in return. I'm giving you money, you're giving me a product. That's not giving, it's a trade. So often we're giving in the hopes or expectations that someone will feel obligated or will want to give us something in return. It's not true giving. So often we give to manipulate how someone thinks about us. We are trying to control how somebody thinks about us or perceives us, and that's why we are giving. So somebody will see us as a giving, nice, kind, generous person. And that's the reason why we are giving. It is actually a manipulation. It's an attempt to manipulate someone else's perception, and if it's not coming from an authentic place, it's manipulating through inauthentic giving. Another one is giving out of guilt. Feeling bad, feeling guilty, or maybe having something that someone else doesn't have, and giving something to them even though you don't want to. Giving them something only because you feel guilty and you are trying to relieve your own emotion of guilt by giving. Another one is giving because you want to think of yourself and you want other people to think of you as a good person. It's not actually being a good person, whatever the definition of good is, but giving to have that perception of yourself or have someone else have the perception of you as a good person. When you don't actually feel good giving, you don't feel like that's who you genuinely are, you're actually trying to give to compensate for that in some way. And the last one that combines all of them is giving at your own emotional expense. When giving makes you feel depleted instead of filled up, instead of some sense of personal accomplishment for doing something that you genuinely want to do. It actually makes you feel emotionally depleted. And it is different from feeling physically depleted. Like you would help someone to move houses and you feel tired, but you genuinely want to do it. It is different. It is about being emotionally depleted. Like you're giving to someone and maybe they are not appreciative of what you are doing. And because you are not giving authentically, the response is really determining how you're going to feel emotionally. Your emotions depend on someone else's thoughts, feelings, and actions. And that's how these all go together, is if you are doing something for someone because you want them to appreciate you. You want them to feel a certain way. You want them to respond in a certain way. That's what all of this emotional guilt, resentment, inauthenticity comes from. And so it will end up making you feel emotionally depleted when you do it. And that's one of the ways that you can tell whether you're giving from an authentic place or not. Sometimes we hear people say, I did this for this person and they didn't even thank me. I did that and they didn't even respond. Which means I'm doing this in order for them to appreciate me, to give me some attention, to acknowledge me, to give me some approval. And that can end up being emotionally depleting if the person doesn't respond the way that you want them to respond. Because that's why you are doing it in order for them to give you something back, even though that isn't something you discussed with them and if they actually want you to do it. So often we give in an attempt to change the way we feel about ourselves and to change the way the other person feels about us. So, what is the downside of giving? Besides the obvious emotional depletion, it creates inauthentic connections with people. It creates obligations and feelings of guilt and resentment. What if people give you things that you do not want? Give you presents you don't want, sacrifice themselves and their time for you, but you never asked for it. And they expect you to do the same for them. And this expectation is unspoken. But if you don't show up in the same way, people complain that you're not doing it. This creates inauthentic relationships and connections that include people-pleasing, approval, seeking, and lying. So what is authentic giving? How do you know if you're giving from a very authentic place, not from a place of obligation and without any attachment? So the first component of authentic giving is you give because you want to genuinely and you really like your reason. You want to give and you like your reason. So how do you know whether you're giving genuinely or you're giving based on some kind of socialized expectation? You will know because you can ask yourself this question. Would I give this to this person if nobody is watching and nobody knows where it comes from? If I know that I will receive nothing in return ever, would I give my time, my attention, my help, things, money? We have no expectation of a response or anything to be returned. The benefit to us is that it feels amazing in the giving. And people don't have to be appreciative. They don't even have to acknowledge it. They don't even have to say thank you. That is not the point of the giving. The point is to do it if you genuinely want to do it for yourself. You will know that you're giving from an authentic place because it will align with who you truly want to be. This is who I really want to be. I want to be a person who helps people in this way, who gives attention in this way, who contributes in this way. It aligns with who I want to be. Not with who I want people to perceive me as, not as some kind of manipulation, but of who I truly want to be. Every time you give authentically, it will feel amazing to you. So you won't need a response. You won't need a reaction. You do not depend on other people's emotions. So, what about you? What are the things that you really, truly love giving? And what is the giving that you feel obligation to do in your life? Give yourself the gift of a calm, peaceful, and non-reactive, flexible and strong mind and body. Practice and meditate with me on my YouTube channel. Give yourself a gift of your own self-transformation and join my retreats. Links to sign up you will find in show notes. Thank you for being curious. If you enjoyed listening, rate, review, subscribe, share, and join the conversation. Do not miss out on yourself, your power, and what is possible for you.